Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a man of simple pleasures. I like to be content with life. I don't like overcomplicated things. I just like to live a manly day-to-day life. So on Thursday gone, at my cleaning job in the early hours of the morning, something weird happened where my supervisor, obviously who can't get a grip on reality, let alone anything else, said to me if I were willing to cover an absent colleague's duties next week. But the absent colleague in question was already in on that day, so why couldn't he carry on with those duties? So I thought, yeah, I can do that, no problem. So he sends me to clean the 9th floor of this building, which had debris everywhere because workmen were there the day before. Now, at about 6:30 in the morning, he frantically says, can you just go and do XYZ duties now that you're supposed to be doing next week, but I want you to do them now. Which makes no sense because he just said to me, do them next week. So I went ahead and did that. Now, when I got home, I received a WhatsApp message from him with lots of photographs. Not dick pics, because if they were, I will need a super magnifying glass to quantify the size of the appendage in question. Nope, this bozo sends me photographs of the areas on the 9th floor I missed. Now, how did I respond to this? I simply said to him, you did not give me enough time, and so that's why they've been left unfinished. That was it. On Friday morning, when I walked in, we had it out, me and the manager, well, actually me and the supervisor. I said to him, look, when I finish work at 7, that is the end of my work shift here. I'm contracted to be here from 5 in the morning till 7 in the morning. Once I go through that front door, that's it. I don't think about work again. And the reason why I say this, because he sent those photographs to me yesterday or the day before at 7:41 in the morning. So his argument is, well, I'm still working here until 9, so it's my work time. I'm sending you these things. So you know what? He's going to get a pleasant surprise on Monday morning because I'm not showing up for work again. I'm going to block him on the phone so he can't call me.
It doesn't really matter. I don't like my job, and I don't think I'm going to go anymore.
And I tell you what, if this was an actual physical fight between me and Mr. Overweight Tubby Colombian, I would bend him over, pick up his work rota and shove it right up his ass because the guy's a first-class pussy and he deserves to be complained about.
You're just not gonna go?
Yeah.
Won't you get fired?
I don't know. But I really don't like it, and I'm not gonna go.
So you're gonna quit?
Nuh-uh, not really. I'm just gonna stop going.
So Monday morning, I'm going to be like my man Ferris Bueller, and I'll be mentioning him in a future video, relaxing, having a pina colada, ogling Sloane Peterson, because what a fine hot woman she was back in 1986. And without further ado, folks, well, this is going to be an interesting video today. It is dedicated to Warhammer 40k and the new rumor that is doing the rounds on social media.
And I call the shots. Got it? I call the shots and I fire the shots. Comprehendo?
Don't tell me. I bet you think all women should be barefoot and pregnant, right?
No, I encourage women to wear shoes.
If he doesn't, I need to apply the touch.
You got the touch!
Goddamn right.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Works for me.
I wear sunglasses at night so I can track the visions in my mind. There's someone behind me, isn't there?
No! You've been doing the same jump for 10 years!
What's that?
When the hell's breaking loose, you'll be right in the eye of the storm!
Flashing through the sky, he's a go-go guy. Stronger than a train with a so-so brain. He's fearless, a little too careless. Hey!
Now, this El Paso Colombian supervisor made up some extra tasks for me to make time pass by in the morning because, ladies and gentlemen, when I wake up in the early hours of the morning, all I can think about doing is going into a big building and passing time by, guess what, wait for it, inspecting picture frames for dust. Do I have to wear a Columbo trench coat and a magnifying glass just to undertake those duties?
Gee, I've seen this picture every day for 12 years. You're a beautiful woman.
No, because if I want to pass time by, I'm just going to stay in my goddamn bed and wake up when I want to. Passing time by, holy shit. So you know by now, folks, with 4chan, it's a very strange website. Once you unearth one clue, you go down a rabbit hole of absolute conspiracy theory territory. So apparently this anonymous insider here, as they call themselves, is somebody who worked on or is working on the Amazon adaptation for Warhammer 40k. So now, of course, what is the fuss about at the moment? Why on earth are custodes, always been the male species, suddenly being infiltrated with female versions of themselves? So according to what this insider here has said, now, while this is a rumor, I like to think I'm the person who believes that in every bit of a lie, there is a kernel of truth somewhere there. So get ready, folks. It's a bit of a long one, so I'll try to speed read this as quickly as possible. Female custodes are only going to be mentioned in the codex. No new sculpts or characters after the fact. Social media department jumped the gun and tried to put out fires with the wrong hose. Interesting choice of words. Intent is to push female custodes character in Amazon show without it breaking the law. Which doesn't make any sense because you are breaking the law if you're going to mention them, because Amazon execs wanted a woman in power because, of course, Guy Ladriel from Rings of Power just wasn't enough damage, was it? And they wouldn't settle for the Sisters of Battlehood, aka the Adeptus Sororitas. People involved in the show are pissed because they're moving ahead on Eisenhorn. Talks of inserting said female custodes into the Eisenhorn story, with Cavill threatening to walk away from the project. Poor Henry, he can't seem to cut a break, can he? But I will talk about that in a short while. Small stock may drop today, but Games Workshop figures it can ride it out if it stays mum on the subject, which they did. They really need better social media employees. Henry Cavill will be in an article due to be heading to Games Workshop to work on the new TV series, either this week coming or next. If he leaves, it will be a noticeable hit to the share price, which has already started to happen anyway, meaning the show is DOA. You can trust me, my dad works at Nintendo. I will add this person was actually drunk while they were writing this social media post for 4chan because they've actually admitted it here. Typing is hard when you're hungover. Can't wait to grab another drink. So the cure for a hangover, dude, is not to have another drink. The deal in the first place was super fragile. Nothing was linked when Cavill announced it and sent everyone at Games Workshop into a panic. Shareholders put an immediate stop to any work until the contract was hammered out, and the negotiations were brutal. If it could impact profits on their minis, Games Workshop didn't want to touch it, which is why this Custodes thing was a dumpster fire. People should have known about it, didn't. And success or not, people are going to be let go. Now, this next part I think is a bit disingenuous towards Henry Cavill. Don't dick ride him too hard. He's always prided himself on the idea of the nerd who made it. His concern is losing the clout of being known as the superfan celebrity. Well, if this person knows Henry any better, he'll know that Cavill is the kind of guy who walks into Forbidden Planet, picks up a graphic novel, reads it, posts it on social media, and gets everyone into a frenzy. Henry definitely knows his stuff when it comes to Superman, Warhammer 40k. He's a real nerd. He just happens to be trapped inside a beautiful Charles Atlas-like body.
So, yeah, and I've been I've been involved in the Warhammer world for
40,000 years.
40,000 years. Oh, well, longer, depending how you look at it. But since I was probably 10.
Nice.
Yeah, so a long time.
Yeah, the smell of paint in the kitchen. Tell me though.
Literally brings back sense memories.
Totally agree with you.
People are going to be fired for this. They weren't supposed to comment on this debacle until the crisis management meeting was called, but they did anyways. That's why the responses were so lukewarm. Like, how can you tell under the helmet? And they've always existed, and we just never mentioned one. People are already calling for new sculpts and female heads, which was never the intention. So the thing I've got to say about this is basically Henry Cavill wanted to make Warhammer after being unceremoniously booted off the Witcher series, which, let's face it, based on Polish folklore, yet she just had diversity all strewn throughout the Witcher series, which is why I never watched it, because just seeing characters that you shouldn't see in Caucasian Polish folklore does not make any sense. Unless the Geralt was traveling around the world, and yeah, you could probably then maybe include it, but the way that Andrzej Sapkowski wrote those books, it was never that way at all. So did Cavill actually sit down with Amazon execs and say, listen, I want you to respect the law of Warhammer 40k. There's a passionate fan base out there.
That chandelier looks like a Blackstone fortress. And I know that no one on set would have got that.
I don't know if there are actually black soldiers, I'm just using that broad term very, very, well, thickly, broadly, if they exist in Warhammer 40k. I've not seen any characters of diversity. There might be, I have no idea, but is that going to be another source of contention? Is that something else that Amazon wants to push for? So again, I don't know if this was an ironclad agreement between Henry and Amazon. Has somebody suddenly infiltrated, an activist perhaps, the set of Warhammer 40k and demanded that there should be female representation with custodies, when again, by birth, the sons are taken away from their houses of nobility and turned into these ultramarine type soldiers. Again, why can't you do it with the females when they're infants? Because I guess their DNA and their non-muscular structure would probably mean they'll die from being genetically modified. But the Sisters of Battlehood, or the Sisters of Battle, they're also taken from infancy and transformed into these warriors. And again, I've got no issue with female badasses in epic fantasy. It's great to have them there. But when the law of Warhammer 40k has clearly established, I think it's from 1987, that custodies are all men at birth and will defend the emperor until their time comes, maybe or not, then why on earth would you suddenly say, well, you know what, we're going to have some female custodies now? And again, your fan base is not stupid. Now, if you're not aware of this gentleman, Astartes is the guy. He actually made this fan film for Warhammer 40k. Apparently Games Workshop weren't happy about this. I think they tried to get him to take down the project, but again, this guy's a super fan. Now, I remember watching this 4 years ago, but it kind of zoomed over my head. I didn't know what the fuss was about, but I was very impressed by what I'd seen. I mean, this part I just absolutely love. The Ultramarines just getting ready for combat. It's just so badass the way these guys are walking towards absolute chaos and anarchy. The imagery is so awesome. And what's great about it is free to watch. It's a devoted fan who just wanted to make his own thing. It wasn't a flex. I guess Games Workshop was so butthurt they just saw it as that. And yeah, just like an all-out war supposedly broke out. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. So I think what's going to happen now is if the Amazon show is going to be DOA, well, we just have to rely upon watching maybe projects like this and any other non-profit, non-Game Workshop approved Warhammer 40k fair to come out. Now, as for me personally, am I going to be getting into the universe and the lore? I find it really interesting. I certainly can't afford to buy figures and paint them up because that's not really my shtick. I'd rather buy Airfix playing kits and do those up. Maybe you might do that in a future life of mine. Who knows? But I might do, or what I might do is to actually buy the audiobooks for Warhammer 40k and just listen to how the actors are interpreting the lines, and that might probably get me into that. So that could be something I'll be strongly considering. So that is it, folks. The 4chan leaks, are they real? Do we believe them? Is there a element of truth? I think there could be, to be honest. Again, it could be somebody who was genuinely drunk and thought, you know what, I'm breaking my non-disclosure agreement today, and I'm just going to tell everybody that this Warhammer show that Henry Cavill is so passionate about is going to suck hard, big time. And unfortunately, if Henry's going to be encountering another episode like he did with Netflix and The Witcher, that it's going to be egos clashing and they want female representation, when in the actual lore of Warhammer 40k, that doesn't exist at all when it comes to being a custodes. It's going to be firefights and fireworks and everything everywhere, isn't it? Again, Indian folks have their own culture, black people have their own culture, Far East Asia has their own culture, but when it comes to a white culture, apparently that's very toxic. You can't have that anymore. It's ridiculous. And I find that very disparaging. Thank God I have my original Lord of the Rings trilogy to watch whenever I want to, because you know why? They don't offend me. I like good storytelling with good acting, with good writing, with good direction, everything. In fact, wasn't it recently that those morons headed by Hector Elizondo? No, I keep thinking that's the guy. It's Hector Navarro. Elizondo's the great actor. And his two other wank boys who talked about what they want for their future Star Wars. And ridiculously enough, what did Hector say?
I am hoping Lucasfilm can recruit and hire a great black director, a great black writer, great black producers to maybe do a Finn movie.
What is this logic?
No, Hector, you fucking dumbass. You just hire the best director who's had experience over the course of years in getting many people, many casts together. But that's the state of entertainment, folks. That is the pop culture war as we know it. You have one side who talk absolute nonsense, like they've almost been hypnotized, not by a pair of biological female titties. And on the other side, which is the right, the side that's more hive mind free thinking, is people like me who just want good entertainment the way it used to be. But of course, if you're not going to give it to us, we're not going to give you any of our hard-earned money and we'll go somewhere else. So on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you were me and if I were you, you might want to come back for the next video.